Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum, welcome, guten Tag, konnichiwa, hello, dobrodan. Today we are going to go through 10 exam questions on highest common factor and lowest common multiple. So let's get started. Find the highest common factor HCF of 72 and 108. Show you're working clearly. This is paper 1 from May 2024. Okay, so I'm going to be using the table method, and you can use other methods as well. So first thing we want to do is we need to think about our prime numbers. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and so on. So we think of our prime numbers, and then we create a table. I'm going to put 72, and then I'm going to put 108. And in this column here are my common numbers. Okay, whatever is common between 72 and 108, common factors. Okay, so I look at my numbers and I can see they are both even numbers, 72 and 108. So I'm going to divide them by 2. 72 divided by 2 is 36. We are allowed a calculator, so just get your calculator out. 72 divided by 2 gives you 36, so you can see that. All right, and then we do 108 divided by 2 is 54. I look at these two numbers. Again, they are both even. Ends in a 6, ends in a 4, so I'm going to divide by 2. That gives me 18. 36 divided by 2 is 18. 54 divided by 2 is 27. Okay, I can see 18 is even, but 27 is not even. What number goes into both of them? I can see that 18 is in the 3 times table and the 27 is also in the 3 times table. So I'm going to be dividing by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. And then 27 divided by 3 is 9. And then I look at 6 and 9. Again, it's in the 3 times table. So I'm going to divide 6 by 3 gives me 2. 9 divided by 3 gives me 3 as well. And that is it. 2 and 3 are prime numbers. I can see from here are my prime numbers. So my HCF is this row here. It's going to be 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. So HCF equals to 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. And you can get your calculator out and work that out. And that gives us 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 gives us 36. All right, so our first one is 36. Hopefully you did well on that question. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this question is from paper 1, January 2020. This is our second question out of 10. So press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play for the answer. Or if you just want to go through it with me, then we can make a start. So here is the working out. So we are going to be working out, find the lowest common multiple, LCM of 28 and 105. So similar to the last question, we think of our prime numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and we need to remember those in the back of our mind. I'm going to write out like before. The first column is going to be blank. It's going to be 28 and 105. Okay, and now I'm going to see we've got 28, even number, 105 is not even, so we cannot divide by 2. In the 3 times table, 28 is not in the 3 times table, so I cannot do that. 28 is also not in the 5 times table, so I cannot divide by 5. 7, 14, 21, 28 is in the 7 times table. I'm not sure about 105, so I'm just going to do 105 divided by 7. and that gives me 15. So that is in the 7 times table. So I'm going to divide by 7. 28 divided by 4 is, so 7 is 4, and 105 divided by 7 was 15. Okay, and now I look for any other numbers. I can see that this is an even number, this is an odd number, there's no other numbers. And so when it comes to working out LCM, it's this part here, which is an L. So LCM is that. So my LCM equals 7 times 4 times 15. Okay, and when I put that into my calculator, 7 times 4 times 15, I get 420. Okay, I hope you did well on that question. Let's go to the next question. Okay, this is from paper 1, May 2022. And this is our third question of 10. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play for the answer. Okay, let's make a start on this one. So we've got, similar to previous questions, find the highest common factor, HCF of 56 and 84. Show you're working clearly. So we're going to do similar to what we've done before. We need to remember our prime numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and so on. All right, I'm going to draw my table. I'm going to have 56. I'm going to have 84. I can see they are both even numbers, so I'm going to be dividing by 2. 56 divided by 2 is 28. 84 divided by 2 is 42. I can divide by 2 again. They're both even numbers. 28 divided by 2 is 14. 42 divided by 2 is 21. And now they are odd and even. So what number goes into both? I can see 7 goes into both. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 21 divided by 7 is 3. And that is it. I don't have anything else. So this is my HCF. HCF equals to 2 times 2 times 7. And that gives me 7 times 2 is 14 times 2 is 28. There is something else I did forget to mention. You can do this differently. So when I go back to my original table, I could actually do this slightly differently. I could actually, when I do my table, do this slightly differently by having different numbers. So I could do, instead of looking at these, I could have said, 4 goes into both of them. So if I divide by 4, 56 divided by 4 gives us 14. And then 84 divided by 4 gives us 21. And then I can see I can divide by 7, 2, and 3. And you can see that the answer will still be the same. HCF is 4 times 7, which is still 28. So you can do this slightly differently and still get the same answer. So in case you did do something different, that's okay. Let's go to part B now. Okay, press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play for the answer, or you can just work it out with me. So this time round, we are being asked for find the lowest common multiple, LCM, of 60 and 72. And so now I'm going to draw my table again. I'm going to have 60 and I'm going to have 72. Okay, what goes into both of them? I can see I can divide by 2 again. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. 72 divided by 2 is 36. I can divide by 3. 30 divided by 3 is 10. 36 divided by 3 is 12. They're both even. I can divide by 2 again. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So I now have my numbers. I can't do any more. 2 and 5, I can't do any more. So my LCM is, my L here, so I'm going to be multiplying all of these numbers together. LCM equals 2 times 3 times 2 times 5 times 6. Put that in your calculator, and that should come to 2 times 3 times 2 times 5 times 6, and that gives us 360. Okay. All right. And if you are new to the channel, we always like to quote famous personalities. So this one is from Muhammad Ali. He's a famous boxer. And one of his quotes are, "Don't quit, suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." So if you are struggling with HCF and LCM, don't quit, keep going, and you'll be really pleased with what you've achieved. And not just for this topic, but any topic in maths and in life. So keep trying your hardest and you will master your GCSE. All right, here is question 4 of 10 questions. This question is from paper 2, January 2022. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play for the answer. All right, this one is saying, find the lowest common multiple, LCM, of 28, 42, and 63. Show you're working clearly. So this one is different to the other questions. We now have 3 numbers. Okay, and so we are going to do the same thing, similar thing as before. We're going to have a row here. We're going to have 28. We're going to have 42. And we're going to have 63. So we're going to have 3 numbers this time. All right, similar to before. And also we need to remember our primes. Forgot to write that down. So that's in the back of my mind. All right, so I look at these numbers. What number goes into all 3 of these numbers? If I think about 2, well, 63 is an odd number. 28 is not in the 3 times table. They don't end in 5, so not in 5. 7 times table. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 42, 42, 49, 56, 63. So it is in the 7 times table. So 28 divided by 7 is 4. 42 divided by 7 is 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. That is 6. And then 63 divided by 7 is 9. I'm not sure why I'm doing it mentally. You can put it in your calculator. A calculator is allowed. All right, next thing I'm looking for now is what number goes into all 3 of them. And I can see that I've got, there's no number that goes into all 3 of them. So what I'm now going to look for is there a number that goes into 2 of the numbers? So I can spot that 4 and 6 are even numbers. So I'm going to divide these by 2. So I've got 4 and 6. I'm going to circle them, divide them by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. The 9, I'm going to keep it as it is, and it's just going to go down here, 9. All right, and again, I do the same. 2 is an even number. Here we have odd numbers, so 3 goes into 3 and 9. So I'm going to circle 3 and 9. So they are going to be divisible by 3 because they're in the 3 times table. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And now I look at my numbers and what I can see is, I'm going to bring 2 down as well. Okay, and now I can see there's nothing common between them. And so I end here, I stop here. So my LCM are going to be these numbers. Okay, so my LCM is going to be 7 times 2 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 3. And all I now do is put this in my calculator. 7 times 2 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 3 gives me 252. 252. So that's a tricky one, not your normal kind of questions. So just be mindful about those things. So hopefully, if we get another question like this, we can get it right. Let's go on to the next question. Okay, here is, we've got 2-parter, so let's do part A. This is our 5th question out of 10. So we've got here, this is from January 2019, paper 2. Find the highest common factor HCF of 96 and 120. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready for the answer, press play. So I'm going to draw my table again. I'm going to have my blank column. I'm going to have 96 and I'm going to have 120. Okay, and now I look for my numbers. What number do I have? They're both even numbers, so remember I need to think of my primes. So I've got my primes in the back of my mind. I'm just going to write them down. All right, so I've got here, they're both even because they end in 6 and 0. So I'm going to divide by 2. 96 divided by 2 is 48. 120 divided by 2 is 60. And now I can divide these by 2 again. 24. 60 divided by 2 is 30. I can divide by 2 again. I should have done divide by 4 or even divide by 8 if I did spot that. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Keep going. 12 and 15 are in the 3 times table. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So I've got that there. And my HCF is going to be all of these. So HCF equals 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8 times 3, which is 24. That is it. And so that's my answer. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, this one is slightly different to what we've done before. So this is 2 to the power 3 times 5 times 7 squared times 11. B equals to 2 to the power 4 times 7 times 11. C equals 3 times 5 squared. Find the lowest common multiple of A, B, and C. So what is the LCM of this? So when we are looking at powers, I need to be thinking about I need to be thinking about the powers. So lowest common multiple. So it's in the times tables of these numbers. So when I'm looking at my powers for LCM, I'm looking for the largest power. largest power. And so what I can do is I can have ABC. I can still use my table that I've got here from before. I can use a table. If I want to do that, or I can just look at my numbers. So let me use these here. So I'm gonna kind of rewrite these, and I'm gonna space them out as well so that you can see that they align with my prime numbers. So I've got 2 to the power 3 times b equals to 2 to the power 4. C, there is no 2 here, so I'm going to leave a bit of gap here. The next one is 3, so this one, C, has 3 here. There's no 3's for them. The next one is going to be 5, because 5 is the next prime number. There's no 5 there. This is 5 squared. The next one is 7 squared, and then you've got 7 times 7 squared times 7. There's no 7 here. The next prime number is 11 times 11. So I've kind of spaced them out just to kind of make it clear for you. So here I've got 2 to the power 3 and 2 to the power 4. Which one is going to be, has the largest power? The largest power is 2 to the power 4. Okay, I now look at my next number. The next prime is 3. There's only one 3 here. So I'm going to write times by 3. I'm going to look at my next number, 5 and 5 squared. Which one has the largest power? The largest power is 5 squared. I'm going to have 5 squared. Then I've got 7 squared and 7. Which one has the largest power? It's 7 squared. And then I've got here 11. So they are both 11. So it doesn't really matter. I can just use 111. And that is my LCM. So I just picked the largest power. So you can see here, if I were to do it looking at this, I didn't really need to write this out, but I just did it just to make it clear. 2 to the power 3 and 4, the largest power is 2 to the power 4. The next one is 3. 3 goes there. 5 or 5 squared. 5 squared is the larger power. 7 squared or 7. 7 squared is the larger power. Then you've got 11. Got that? So when we have powers, we do working out slightly differently. All right, hopefully you enjoyed that question. Let's go to the next one. This is question 6 out of 10 questions. And you can see just from the question, this is similar to the type of question we've just done earlier. Press pause and have a go when you are ready. Press play for the answer. Okay, so let's start. So we've got question 7. A equals 5 cubed times 7 cubed times 11 to the power 6, and b equals to 5 to the power 6 times 7 squared times 11 to the power 4. Find the highest common factor of a and b. Give your answer as a product of powers of its prime factors. So how do we work this out? So again, this time around we're given powers. So when we're looking at powers for HCF, highest common factor, a number that goes into both numbers, we're looking for the power that is low. So lowest power. And so when I look at these, I've got 5 to the power 3 and 5 to the power 6. So which one is the lower power? 5 to the power 3. So 5 to the power 3. I look at my next number. Oops. 7 cubed and 7 squared. Which one is the lower power? Lower power is 7 squared. And then my last one, 11 to the power 6, 11 to the power 4. Which one is my lower power? It's 11 to the power 4. So times by 11 to the power 4. And that is it. That's my answer. And I'll double check. Give your answer as a product of powers of its prime factors. So my prime numbers. So you've got these here. So these are all prime numbers, 5, 7, 11. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, let's go to the next one. And if you are new to the channel, remember to subscribe, and then you'll get notifications of questions as we do them. So here is the next question. This is from January 2021, paper 2. This is our 7 out of 10 questions. And here is the question. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play for the answer. Okay, so this question is similar to what we just done now. A equals 2 to the power 3 times 3 squared times 5 squared times 11. B equals 2 to the power 4 times 3 times 5 to the power 4 times 13. Find the lowest common multiple, LCM of A and B. Give your answer as a product of powers of its prime factors, prime numbers. So it's similar but different because we've got LCM. So let's remind ourselves when we have got HCF and LCM. So when we're looking at powers for HCF, we are looking for the lowest power. And for LCM, we are looking for the power that is highest. High power, power high. All right, so now if I look at, I'll just rewrite this. A equals 2 cubed times 3 squared times 5 squared times 11. B equals 2 to the power 4 times 3 times 5 to the power 4 times, I'm not going to put it underneath 11, I'll put it underneath 13 because these are two different prime numbers. So I'm looking for 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 4. So LCM. Find the LCM. LCM, I'm looking for the power that's high. So 2 to the power 4 or 3, it's going to be 2 to the power 4. That's the higher power. 3 squared and 3, which one has the higher power? 3 squared is the larger power. 3 squared times. If I look at my next one, 5 squared or 5 to the power 4. 5 to the power 4 is the larger power. And then I've just got an 11 here. So I'm just going to choose 11. And then I'll also have 13. So I multiply by 13. And that is my answer. Okay, hopefully you got that one correct. Well done if you have. Let's go to the next question. This is question 8 of 10. This is from May 2023. And this is paper 1. We're going to skip A because that's not part of our LCM, HCF. Okay, so press pause and have a go. When you are ready, press play for the answer. So we've got A equals 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. B equals 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 5. Find the lowest common multiple, LCM of 5A and 7B. Show you're working clearly. So what I'm going to do for this question is, it's saying 5A. I'm going to multiply this by 5. So I'm going to write this 5A is going to be all of this times by 5. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. And then I've got another 5 here. So I've got 2 5s here. And then 7B. So 7B is going to be all of that. 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 5, then times by 7. So I've got another 7 there. Okay, so I've got that now. I can rewrite this as well. 2 to the power 3, 3 squared, 5 squared. This is 2 squared times 3 cubed times 5 times 7. And if I remember what my LCM is, for LCM, I'm looking for a high power. High power. So now I can see LCM is going to be 2 cubed and 2 squared. Which one is my larger power? It's 2 cubed times by, I'll look at my next one. 3 squared or 3 cubed. 3 cubed is my larger power. 3 cubed times by next one. 5 squared or 5. It is 5 squared. And then I've got a 7 left times by 7. And so that is my LCM. All right, well done if you got the same answer. Let's go to question 9 out of 10. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play for the answer. So we've got A equals 2 times 3 to the power 43. And we've got B equals 16 times 3 to the power 37. Find the highest common factor, HCF, of A and B. So what do you notice about this? The first thing to spot is that we've got 3 and 3 as our base. So that is fine. The next thing we notice is we've got 2 and 16. They are not the same. They are different. And so what I need to think about is, how do I put this with the same powers? And I can spot that 16 is going to be 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So that is 2 to the power 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 to the power 4. So I can write A as, A stays the same, 3 to the power 43, and B becomes 2 to the power 4 times 3 to the power 37. So now I've put it in my prime factor form. And so when I'm looking for the HCF, I'm looking for the lowest powers. Okay, so when I look at this, I've got 2 and 2 to the power 4. I'm going to choose the lower power, which is 2. And then I've got here 3 to the power 43, 3 to the power 37. Which one is my lower power? My lower power is 37, so 3 to the power 37. Okay, and LCM is going to be low and high powers. Just write that down. Okay, let's look at part B now. Part B, express the number A times B as a product of powers of its prime factors. Give your answer in its simplest form. So here, what we are doing is we're just going to be multiplying them. So A times B. So press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play for the answer. So express the number A times B. We're multiplying these two together. So let's multiply them. 2 times, and we'll put the same numbers together, 2 to the power 4 times 3 to the power 43 times 3 to the power 37. Okay, so we've done that. 2 times 2 to the power 4 times 3 to the power 43 times 3 to the power 37. Now, when we are multiplying indices, we are adding the powers. So when we multiply, we add the powers. Okay, so when we look at this, this has got an invisible 1 here. So all we're doing is we are adding the powers. 1 plus 4 times 3 to the power 43 plus 37. And that gives me 1 plus 4 gives me 5. And then 43 plus 37 is 80. 3 to the power 80. And that is my final answer. Well done if you got that correct. Let's go to the last question of today's session on HCF and LCM. So this is from May 2018, and this is paper 1. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play for the answer. So question 8, a equals 3 to the power 5 times 5 times 7 to the power 3. B equals 2 to the power 3 times 7 to the power 4. Find the highest common factor, HCF of A and B. So remember again, for the highest common factor, we're looking for the low powers. And for LCM, we are looking for high powers or larger powers. Okay, so when I have my numbers, let me just write them out again. 3 to the power 5 times 5 times 7 cubed. B is 2 to the power 3 times 7 to the power 4. I've just put them in alignment. So you've got 2 to the power 3. That's not common to both. So HCF, I've got here 3 to the power 5 and 3. So the lowest power is just 3. So I'm going to use that. I look at my next one. I've got 5 by itself. Again, they're not shared, so I can't use the 5. The next one, 7 cubed and 7 to the power 4. So I've got the 7s in common, so the lower power is 3. So it's going to be times by 7 to the power 3. That's my answer. That's my HCF. Part B, find the lowest common multiple, LCM of A and B. So now I'll just rewrite this again. A equals to 3 to the power 5 times 7 cubed. B equals 2 cubed times 3 times 7 to the power 4. So LCM equals to the larger powers. So 2 to the power 3, I'm going to choose that power. I'm going to look at my next one. It's going to be 3 to the power 5 and 3. Which one has the larger power? It's 3 to the power 5. Then I've got 5 here. So I'm going to choose that as well. And then the next one I have is 7 to the power 3 and 7 to the power 4. Which one is larger? It's 7 to the power 4. So I choose that one. And so that's my LCM. 2 cubed times 3 to the power 5 times 5 times 7 to the power 4. Well done if you got that right. Let's go to the last part B of our last question for today. A equals 3 to the power 5 times 7 cubed. B equals 2 cubed times 3 times 7 to the power 4. C equals 2 to the power p times 5 to the power q times 7 to the power r. Given that the HCF of B and C is 2 cubed times 7, the LCM of A and C is 2 to the power 4 times 3 to the power 5 times 5 squared times 7 to the power 3. Find the value of P and the value of Q and the value of R. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each sentence. In fact, before I dive in, press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play for the answer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at each sentence. So I'm going to look at B and C. So the HCF of B and C is 2 to the power 3 times 7. So just before I do that, I need to remind myself about the powers. So what I've written here, when I've got HCF, I'm using the low powers. And when I'm using LCM, I'm using the high powers, larger powers. Okay, so now I've got HCF of B and C. So I'm just going to write here B equals 2 cubed times 3 times 7 to the power 4. And C equals to 2p times 5q, 5 to the power q rather, times 7 to the power r. Okay, so I've got that. Now the HCF of B and C, HCF equals 2 to the power 3 times 7. So the HCF is the lower power. So that means they are in both. So 2 to the power 3, that's the lower power. So you got 2 to the power 3 and 2 to the power p. So HCF is the lower power, so that's that. So we still don't know what p is. If we look at the 7 now, this is 7 to the power 4 and 7 to the power r. So when we have 7, there's an invisible 1 there. So 7 to the power 1 is the lower power, which means this. 7 to the power r equals to 7 to the power 1. So our r equals to 1. So that is done. So r equals to 1. Let's go to the next one. LCM of a and c. So let's write out a. A equals 3 to the power 5 times 5 times 7 to the power 3. And c equals 2 to the power p times 5 to the power q times 7 to the power r. We've already worked out what r is, which is 1. But let's leave that for now. And LCM equals 2 to the power 4 times 3 to the power 5 times 5 squared times 7 cubed. So LCM is always, we're choosing the high power. So if we look at 2 to the power 4, there is no 2 here. So this is the power. So P, 2 to the power P equals to 2 to the power 4, which means P equals to 4. So that's our P. Okay. Now we've got 3 to the power 5, that's there, so that's fine. Next we have 5 squared. So here, LCM, remember, is the higher power. So 5 squared, we've got, I'll use a different color actually. 5 squared, we've got 5 and 5 to the power q. So we're using the larger power. So that means 5 to the power q equals to 5 squared, which means q equals to 2, and so q equals to 2. I appreciate you staying with me right till the end. Thank you, and I hope you've benefited. See you at the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Assalamu alaikum.